Hello, my good friends. I shall greet you, as I always do, with a hashtag joyant and a jubilant hello to all of my good friends out there in the trading universe, or any universe for that matter. Thank you for stopping by. My name is Doug. This is Trade with Doug, and welcome to another stock market review and recap. This will be for the 18th, but I'm not really going to recap much. I'm going to switch it up, giving you the old switcheroo here because I think it's important. Otherwise, I simply wouldn't do it for the sake of doing it, because I'm here. I'm here for education. I'm here to share knowledge with you that will help you guys grow into professional, robotic powerhouse stock, or just basically trading machines. And you know what we're going to talk about? We're going to talk about really what hurts traders more than anything. Because it's the only reason that all of us are here in this first place. It's the only reason why we ever waste our time looking at charts. Why we study charts. We're all in this for the gains, man. We're in the game for the gains, right? That's what we're all doing here. Which leads me in today's topic. What happens if we don't take those gains? Do you know what I'm saying? And this brings me to this whole era we're seeing, which was just more of a exacerbated way of something we've all been through before. And that's this YOLO, diamond hands sort of investing or trading approach. Whatever, it's not, I'm not even calling it investing and trading. It's just total horse shit. It's the dumbest way to look at anything in the world, because it's going to rob you of the very reason why all of you are standing right here. Gains. Now I'm going to start out obviously with GameStop and going from the most dramatic of the dramatic, like the YOLO and the diamond hands. Now I'm sure that all of you out there realize, or most of you, that that is just dumb. About as stupid as you can be. However, we all make kind of the same decisions, don't we? Maybe on a smaller scale by not letting it, by not taking out gains, right? So how many of you right now, if I were to ask, have recently had, let's say if we were to go back 30 days, for all you beta traders, right? Spec traders, Momo traders, NASDAQ traders, how many of you, if you go back 30 days, your accounts were a lot more brilliant, right? And you wish you would have taken gains. Now this is important to me because here's how I look at it. If you're not taking gains, then what are you doing here? What is the purpose of generating them if you're not taking a gain? Because why you're doing this is to make money, to do something in your life. So maybe there's some of you out there that are just trying to invest. That's a completely different story. But if some of you are trying to transition from one career into another, from one career into trading, and you want to do this for a living, you're trying to generate gains so you can pay bills, so you can advance your life. That's what money really does for us. It buys us freedom, it buys us luxuries, it gives us things that we can do to enhance our lives. And if you're not doing that, then the gains you make really just don't exist. They're just numbers that's typed on a piece of paper. They're just meaningless, okay? Now here's why I say this strategy is terrible. And I've kind of been talking a little bit about it here on social media, and I'm sure most of you see this. But again, let's understand that we all do this. The only reason I'm talking about it is, look, I was guilty of this, and I'm going to give you my own story here from way back in 99 and 2000. I'm going to tell you exactly how this ends up. So here's the thing. Let's say if you're in this YOLO diamond hands, I'm never selling, I'm revolting against whatever, I don't really care. But if you don't have an exit strategy, maybe that's one of the things we're talking about here too. What's the purpose if you don't have an exit strategy, right? So let's say you're somebody who buys this thing at 20 bucks all the way down here, and it goes up to 400. I mean, that's one hell of a trade. And you're looking at this massive bank balance, right? But you go into this no exit strategy. You have no clue what the hell you're supposed to do at this point. Some of you are just stubborn if you're holding it at that level, and you're just oblivious to the way stock market works, and you just think that stocks always do this and nobody's figured this out yet. You're the only one. Maybe you're being misled by other sort of chats or something like that. But the bottom line is, if you don't take this, what did it really mean? Then it comes all the way down here, and the money that you once had printed on a piece of paper looks an awful lot less, right? Then you get another bailout. And I'll tell you what, I would run out of excuses now, right now, feeling sorry for anyone that loses money on this. Because this is a rarity that once this parabolic happens like this and comes all the way back down, 99.9% of the time, that's it. The fact that you got another squeeze to 300 was like the holy gift of the heavens of trading, where it was like Christmas came early for you guys, gave you another bailout. So here you go, you're back up here to a respectable number. But if you don't take it, look where you're going again. So what is if you are somebody that's in this, what is your actual exit strategy? When will you look at that? And this goes for everybody that are in these big assets, Bitcoins. When will you look at it and say, okay, I'm obligated to pay myself something? Now, early on, one of my mentors told me this very same thing, that this isn't real unless you take money. Now, your brain, guys, works on a reward system. So when you think about anything that we do, in order for us to feel like we're doing something, we must be rewarded in increments. This is why when people tell you to set goals, they tell you to set small goals and then longer goals. That way, you're being constantly rewarded for your hard work. You're seeing something. Because the worst thing that people experience is working hard and studying hard and putting a lot of time into something and getting absolutely zero for it. This is why all the diets will tell you that, you're strict throughout the week and then you decide you want to have a cheat day. This is some way to reward you, so you have this natural rewarding mechanism to make everything feel like it's worth it, okay? Now here's my personal story, because I said it's GameStop and YOLOing takes it to the max and the extreme. But we all make this mistake by not taking gains because maybe some of us don't know where a stock's going to go. We don't, because it's technical analysis, or maybe some of us just aren't experienced enough. In my case, that was it 24 years ago. But the point is, if you don't have an exit strategy, it's a joke. So here's a little bit of a rundown of my story, which many of you heard. So back in '99, I started an account out, and I've got $60K worth of cash into this account. Now this is the .coms, and I'm doing really good here. I'm just throwing darts, sort of a secular linear bull market that puts this bull market we have here to shame. Everything was just flying off the handle. I'm sure most of you people know it. So within about a year and a half, this moves very close towards about 100. I'd say it's about a 190, almost 200K worth of value that this account had, okay? And I'm looking really good here, obviously. This is nothing to laugh at. This is very respectable, and at this point, many things feel great in my life. I feel like I've accomplished something. I feel like I've done something special. I feel like I'm embarking on a career that's going to make me very successful, and I'm going to be very rich, okay? But I don't take very much of this money at all. I was just saving it. Now I can't really tell you why I was doing that. I just didn't take this money. It was just numbers on a piece of paper. So when I'm looking at my statement in my account, it says 60K one day, and a year later it says 190. So there's some emotional attachment to those numbers, but they're just numbers. They're no more of me just writing more zeros here and making it 1.9 million, or it's just numbers, right? I took very little out. So I didn't pay off any vehicles. I didn't take this money and re-educate myself. I didn't take any of this money and feed my family or buy something like a piece of real estate or reward myself along the way, because I didn't really know, number one, what I wanted to do with it, and number two, where I was really going to ever sell this. I didn't know. And I'm sure a lot of traders, seems easier said than done, but I'm sure a lot of traders feel that way. So obviously most of you know what happened is, as the .com implodes, this thing comes all the way down here, and eventually, to make a long story short, ends up at around, I don't know, I think it was 16K or something was the final determination where I capitulated completely out of the market. Okay, so where I'm going with it is, I once had this money, or I like to think that I had this money, right? But I never really did I? I didn't, because I didn't do anything with it. I never even took a vacation. I did absolutely nothing with it. So once this whole escapade from 60 to 190 back to 16, I had nothing to show for this other than a bunch of misery. That's all I had to show for it, right? Because another funny thing about mine is, you think, well, I started with 60, I ended up with 16. Okay, that's not bad. But no, I always said, well, I had 190, I ended up with 16. I once had that. No, I never really had that. I never really had it because I never really took it. So the thing is this, why that strategy never works. Because if you don't have an exit strategy, then what are you doing this for, right? What's the purpose of making money if you're never going to spend it? And that goes for everybody in life. I mean, I'm sure you know somebody who's a hoarder, savings hoarder, right? And I tell these stories all the time to the people in the room, but you know, in my 20s, I started out as an insurance agent, and it wasn't we did a lot of business with senior citizens. And it wasn't uncommon to go into someone's house that looks like it was going to fall in. Like you felt like you needed to call the city or state and condemn this house and remove this person from these horrifying living conditions. And it was disaster. Just think of any disaster, or what a hoarder's house, a dirty house, a smelly house is. What does it look like? You know, what does a rundown, decrepit home look like? And you're thinking there's no possible way this person has any money to their name. They're living the worst situation possible. And then they'll show you a bank statement and they've got $500,000. It's like, well, what's the purpose of having this money? I mean, you worked for this money your whole life. You saved up this money. You struggled. You sweat. I mean, what went into this? What sweat equity, mental equity went into that? And you didn't take any of it. What the hell what do you need it for then? Because all they ended up doing, which was sad, is many of these people passed away and gave it to their, derelict kids or family members that were more than happy to spend it. The thing is you got to reward yourself along the way, guys. I don't care if it's $10, $20, whatever it is per month. You have to feel like what you're doing is real. And in my experience, it was not real. If I would have just taken, $20,000 and went on a vacation, I could say this. Well, at least I went on a vacation. Well, at least I did this. I did nothing. I used none of that money to enhance any part of my life. I didn't use it to start another business. I didn't use it for education. I didn't use it to buy a piece of real estate. I did nothing, jack shit, with this money to advance me. It was just a joke. That's all it was. In the end, it was just like, what was it? The Wolf on Wall Street, a fugazi, right? It was gone. So, to make a long story short, when I got kind of back on my feet around 2000, let's say 2004, 5, I started making some pretty good money. And, when the 2008 crisis came by, it was a really good opportunity for me to right the wrongs of my mistakes. The mistakes that I made back in the crash there of 01. I learned what crashes were about, learned how to trade through them. I learned some lessons, was able to educate myself about short selling, and I made quite a bit of money, okay? So the very first thing I did once I got a good chunk of money is I went out and bought me a new car. That was the first thing I did. Now some say, well, that would be a frivolous purchase, but that's what I was thinking about. I said, if I ever get my hands on that money again, I will do something to have something to show for it. And I'm not saying a car is the very best thing, but at the time I needed a vehicle and I wanted the vehicle and I bought it and I just paid for it, and that was the end of the story. So I always thought, well, if I screw this thing up, well, at least I've got this car. Now you have to understand my mindset. I had some successful years, really successful years between here, in between these 3 to 4 years that were very successful, but I did so much damage back there by making 60, 190 and then losing it all that I thought it was going to be over any day. I was really scared. I was really timid. So I just think I'm going to blow up. It's just a matter of time. I'd get up every day and almost say, today's the day I'm going to blow up. But I bought this car. So the car to me is something I got a tangible asset from my hard work, from the struggling, from the suffering, from the reinventing myself, rebuilding myself. I rewarded myself by buying a new car. Now, I actually still have the same. I've not bought another car since. Now, part of that has to do with the sort of emotional attachment. I always say, don't get emotional about assets. Well, I'm emotional about my car. It's got like 200,000 miles on it now. I just simply won't get rid of it because to me now, that piece of car there, that metal that would be junk to someone else, is my treasure because it's just not a car, right? It's a symbolization of what I went through to get where I'm at today. Every time I sit in the car, I remember the struggles, the pain, every piece of frustration that I went through to achieve buying something. Whether it was, and I tell you what, It was a Hummer H3, so it's not like I bought a Raptor or some really expensive vehicle. It was just mid-priced at the time. It's what I wanted, and I still own the vehicle. So it also represents my hard work. So when I can look at it still today and say, you know how I got that car? You know what that car means to me. And I probably will never sell this vehicle just based on that. So the story is this, guys. You have to take money, okay? So like when you're sitting here looking at this stuff, and some of you guys will learn this lesson the hard way. Some of you will figure it out. And I know, look, we all get in a situation where we say to ourselves, hey, I took money, now the stock goes higher. They don't go higher forever. And I think I said to the NASDAQ traders out there, I mean, look what's happened here. I mean, how much money here has been taken. Now, maybe it's just a normal correction, okay? I get that. But if you're in this business for money, you've got to take money. If you're a long-term investor, you shouldn't even be watching this unless you're just here for the entertainment. But many of these stocks that people had loved, and here's one thing I've learned. And sometimes veteran traders get heat. Sometimes people think things will never stop, and I understand. You don't want to hear that while things are going good. Nobody wants to hear that they're going over. But everybody talks about Tesla. You say you want to short Tesla, and it's a good thing your phone number is not posted out, or you'd get death threats every day. You almost have to block your social media if you dare say something so evil. But even the best, look, $900, now you're down to $650. Now I know some people are going to say, look, a couple years from now it's going to be at $2,000. Okay, well if that's your time horizon and you can deal with the volatility, then fine. But how many actually can? How many were trading it in a sink? Well, really wish it was 900 again so I could sell it, right? Or it takes something. I've seen a few things here over when it was trading up here, and people showing statements of how much money they made trading Tesla for many years, and saying, hey, I still have it. I will never I will not sell a share of it, and I have no intentions in selling a share. Well, then what the hell are you doing then? What's it for? You're going to give it to your kids? What are you going to do with this money? That's all I'm saying. If you don't take it, it's not real. It doesn't exist. It does nothing to enhance the life. And when we think about it, on a closing note, that's what we're really doing, right? When you're trading something and you want to trade, you're trading for freedom. You're trading to enhance. That's what money does for people, right? It enhances their life. That's money. And all you really need in your life is enough money to enhance it to the level you want it to be. Not everybody needs a yacht and a helicopter. Many people are just satisfied with getting out of a 9-to-5. But the thing is, you have to take that money. That money needs to then be enhanced in something, taking families on vacations, spending time with loved ones, doing things for your health, such as taking money out like I pay myself every month, but I've used my money to get my eyes operated on so I can see better. I've used it to enhance my life by taking vacations now and trips and using it as a source of income. And I use money there for play money to enjoy what I am. Because, after all, we bust our ass for this, right? We're all working. We're working late hours. We're working hard. We're dealing with all the nuances of the market. The last thing we need to do is not pay ourselves. That's why we're here. So anyway, guys, I hope that makes sense to you. As always, if you need my help, you know how to reach out to me. Somewhere down in the description box will be a link to my live community. I hope this made some sense to me. Kind of let me know your stories about paying yourself. Let me know if you are, if you're not, and what we can do to help you get to the next level. Until next time, guys, take care. I want you to trade well. Talk to you soon.